Hello. Yes, we're flying through the air. 1 second, we're not there yet. Early start. Skibbity beep 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 beep. Yes. Okay, here we are once again. Shoot the Messenger podcast, episode number 28. Jumping the gun. I'm here. My name is AJ.
I'm Kendra.
Yes, that's right. With the poofy hair. We got haircuts. We got a big show this week. We've been talking about this show for a while, Kendra. We're going to be on stage singing and dancing this Thursday night.
We are.
And Friday.
Thursday and Friday. There are still some tickets available. It's a giant fundraiser for our local community theater because we're theater people and we care about our local community theater.
Yeah, it's at the Old Town Playhouse right here. So check it out. Those of you that want to come see the show. But regardless, we have another show to do right here, and it is Shoot the Messenger. Starting with the first item up for bid. Actually, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and show them the categories, the scattergories for this week. There we are. They're all in their glory. And, of course, Notre Dame in the background. We're talking to the YouTube listeners, the iTunes listeners, the Spotify listeners. Where else can they catch us? On the Podify.com and
basically any podcast provider. Also our website. You can always check out our website. You can contact us via our website, shootthemessenger.net. You can leave a comment on YouTube. Shoot the Messenger podcast is where we're on YouTube. And then iTunes, Twitch.
Perfect.
All the places.
You got it. So we got Notre Dame in the background. We're going to be discussing this and the future of it coming up. Of course, you know, that burning down, what are they going to do with the future? So that is coming up in the podcast, so make sure you hang out for that. But starting with topic number 1, where are we, Kendra? What do we got? Transparent glass. Not only glass, but solar glass, right? This video coming out of Michigan State University.
Yeah, very local school.
Yes.
Local.
Yeah, of all places in the state of Michigan.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So are we going to let him share a little bit about the information about the solar?
No.
Glass,
no,
are we gonna?
So it's glass that's solar panels, and you can put it anywhere, right? You know, this guy, he's got a little nose hanger right there. But I haven't been without my videos of nose hangers. So look, it's transparent glass that is solar powered. So that just opens up everything, doesn't it? I mean, if you can have windows that are solar powered and transmit,
Yeah, I mean, not even just windows, but also like cell phones are now glass on both sides and stuff. So if you can get a charge via glass, and I guess the way that they do it is it's coated with some kind of material, and then they're just able to kind of connect wires to the sides.
Yeah, it brings
and
the light to the sides, and then
Yep.
it charges it that way. Yeah,
and you can see the little fan, motorized fan spins due to the solar power.
So eventually, do you imagine like solar power on everything? Every outside surface that hits the sun will be a potentially solar powered surface?
If we perfect it, that would be pretty sweet. I mean, you mentioned the idea of windshields for cars.
No.
You know, so if you had like an electric car that had a solar like paint on the glass, like that could easily power vehicles too.
Anything too much is probably bad for the environment. You know, big solar farms and things like that. Eventually, they'll be like, well, why don't we just plant the trees and get the energy from them? They're the perfect carbon storing, you know, like it'll go like full circle, right? You know, so
well, and the whole idea is to get rid of those farms, actually.
What?
So
The
the
solar
solar farms,
right.
yeah, you'd be able to just
incorporate it.
have it anywhere else.
Well, look at that. That is the future, and it is solar panels from the Michigan State University that are transparent.
So we'll see if this is incorporated elsewhere. I'm curious to see if this is one of those technologies that disappears or becomes incorporated in our day-to-day life.
I like it. Okay. Oh, you can always find the. Ow! I just scratched a bug bite and it hurts. It is the season for bugs, but you can always find the link in the descriptions below. So if you want to see that, we do a movie review from time to time. No bad movie review this week, Kendra.
We've got too much going on for a bad movie review right now.
Yeah, we have a huge show coming up. So, but I did take a look. I like to see what the best are watching. You know, you want to know what Steven Spielberg's watching. You want to know what a director like Christopher Nolan.
What do artists think is art?
Yeah, exactly. What do they watch? And IndieWire put out this, and it's Christopher Nolan's must-see 30 famous films. Some of them you have heard of, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Of course, Christopher Nolan directing Inception, right? The very powerful Inception, Dunkirk, things like that.
which
Batman movies.
Dunkirk, you go on to read this article and you learn that before Dunkirk, he actually interviewed Steven Spielberg. He was so inspired by Saving Private Ryan. So, it also, they say that it influences art. So this is one of those examples.
12
too.
Angry Men made the list. A classic, Alien, that's Ridley Scott's classic, recently made into a play by some high schoolers in California. All Quiet on the Western Front, Bad Timing. This one was kind of different. What'd you say? Art Garfunkel is in this? Yes.
Well, and
From Simon and Garfunkel.
I'd never even heard of this before this list. So this is one of those movies that it piques my interest.
Do you enjoy psychological thrillers?
I do.
It does look like Art could be some psychological shenanigans. He's kind of creepy.
Absolutely.
So I hate to use that word, but there he is. So some really kind of gems that you can find in here. They have Lawrence of Arabia, Blade Runner, some ultimate classics, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So take a look at it. Some moon landing things.
Well, and you also get an idea for what Christopher Nolan's favorite genres are, right? He likes space, he likes thriller, he likes kind of mind-bendy stuff.
Yeah, and war movies, evidently. Well, if you're gonna make a movie, you better do the research, and he definitely researched. He says one of these For All Mankind, which came out in 1989, original footage of the NASA's Apollo program and things like that. So he says to watch it. If you missed that in 1989, you never got around to see it. Maybe it's a time to fire up the Hulu, which I just paid a membership for. I decided to get Hulu because it had some musicals and stuff on there. Hulu and Cinemax. Yeah, so I'm wasting money on that. The streaming services. What I think you got to do is you got to rent them, use and abuse them for a couple of months, see everything there is to see on them, then, go
Get
on.
rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah, well, that only works if they're not constantly rotating their selection,
Yes.
right?
Well, you got to stay vigilant with your current subscriptions there. All right. So speaking of TV and things like that, Jonathan Frakes, I do believe that's how you pronounce his name. Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was on this show called Beyond Belief, but he always started off the same way, and this kind of went viral this week. Let's take a look at Jonathan Frakes asking you things.
Have you ever walked out of a mall into a huge parking area and realized you'd forgotten where you parked your car?
Yes.
Ever gone mountain biking? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
What's the right tip? Have you called a plumber to your home lately? How superstitious are you? How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery? Would you display this as a trophy? Do you have a pet? Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you believe in the power of a curse? Have you had your hearing tested lately? Planning a trip soon? Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen? Do you love to go a-wandering beneath a clear blue sky? Have you noticed what big stars real estate agents have become? Are you careful with your personal records? Does your computer ever seem to have a mind of its own? Have you ever visited a Chinatown section in a major city? Have you ever visited a flea market? Have you ever visited a truck stop? Did you ever have a job as a waiter? Have you noticed how many successful restaurants are theme-based these days? Have you ever had the desire to write your initials in wet cement?
Oh, I have. Have you ever done that?
Have you ever walked out of a
No,
mall
I have
into a
not
huge
done
parking
that.
Oh, sorry. You've never written your initials in wet cement?
No.
As a kid, I did it one time. It was nice. It was epic, and it stayed there for a long time. And I would go by and see it, but over time, it wears away,
It does.
and then your name is no longer in the pavement. Anyway, Jonathan Frakes from Beyond Belief. We had to look up IMDb on Frakes to find out what that was from, and it wasn't even listed.
It was not. We originally thought it was an older show that was like paranormal something.
So
But it's not. It's Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. And
season 2.
yeah,
Season 2's not. Season 1 is not him.
different host.
Pose this question. We immediately paused it, and we're gonna play this question live. Okay, a fact or fiction question. Jonathan Farks, take it away. Frakes.
Can you separate fact from fiction?
Yes.
Yes.
Beyond belief.
Beyond belief.
Fact or fiction?
Sci-fi.
I love it. Okay, give us the question.
By Jonathan Frakes.
Frakes. All right, he's gonna
Live
poke.
in a world where the real and the unreal live side by side. Where substance is dis-
Okay, hold on. I'll get to the question real quick. All right. See if you can solve it at home.
Is our most unreliable sense because it can be changed so instantly.
What is sight?
I think so.
I think you said sight. I'm talking too much. I'll shut up. Hold on. I'm just amped.
Too excited.
I know. It's true.
Perception is our most unreliable sense because it can be changed so instantly. Take these letters. When read straight across, they're the first three of the alphabet. But now watch what happens to the B when we add two numbers and ask you to read straight down. We've now changed the symbol from a B to the number 13. An appropriate allusion for this episode of our show, because each story that we will see will have a Friday the 13th theme. Each tale deals with the superstitious, fateful, and mysterious quality of a day that many people dread. Will it be difficult to discern reality from fiction on our salute to the number 13? Or will you find it as easy as ABC? This story
Dang.
involves
Wow, the writing. So okay, I don't want to go any further than that. But obviously, did you see the 13 or the
I did.
Back to fiction, Kendra.
I did see the 13. Fact.
Really? And the B? I noticed.
the
I
B.
saw the same thing. I knew he was gonna do as soon as I read it.
What
about
was
you?
pretty obvious.
I don't know. I mean,
But I mean, you can see that the way that they set up every single episode like that, they kind of like had this long drawn out introduction, and then they would ask questions later on.
that's mystery shows in general. You know, drawing you out. Hold on, we gotta move on. Go ahead.
And we recently watched that video with Bill Burr meeting his hero, who was the voiceover guy for Dateline, which is another famous, like in my mind, almost mystery show. So
Yeah, it wasn't Bill Burr. It was it was
Hader.
Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Hader.
Hader met his guy, and we don't have a clip for that. But thanks for bringing that up.
I'm
Maybe
sorry.
we can bring one up later on the next show. I do enjoy that interaction. Lou Bega from the '90s, just like our friend Jonathan Frakes, bringing this up, Scatman, and it's kind of like a Scatman Part 2. So he took Scatman was huge when it came out, 1993. Lou Bega's Mambo Number 5 was popular with the female persuasion, but it's been 20 years, and he calls himself the Hat Man now, which is super lame. But we'll play a little bit. He combines. So, the Scatman was cool because he could talk really fast. Were you familiar with the Scatman, Kendra?
I was not really.
No? And he goes really fast.
I mean, I understand the idea, the concept of scat, but I'm not sure if I know this particular artist.
He reminds me of actually, the Micro Machines guy. Have you ever heard the Micro Machines guy? Are you familiar? The guy that talks really fast?
The new Micro Machine aircraft carrier playset. The dramatically detailed, terrifically trimmed replica of the real thing that holds 25 Micro Machines with fabulous, fantastic features. 2 totally terrific elevators, real working hoist, runway, and 2 cargo arms. The new Micro Machine aircraft carrier playset from Galoob. Remember, if it doesn't say
my
Micro
remix.
Machines, it's not the real thing. This is
It's the remix.
Micro Machine Man presenting the most midget miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets. Each one comes with its own special edition Micro Machine vehicle and fun, fantastic features. There's Micro Machine service centers and many more. And these playsets fit together to form a perfectly precise Micro Machine world. The Micro Machines collect them, race them, trade them from Galoob. Remember, if it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the real thing.
Yeah, okay, all right. So that's pretty much how that works right there. The Micro Machines guy sold me on those little fucking cars when I was little. That's all I wanted, and they had 50 of them in the commercial. But when you bought the set, you got one. Or maybe you could buy a set of 5, I guess, later on.
Yeah.
But when you bought the town or whatever, they would give you one thrown in. So you had to buy the set. And I don't know what it is with little kids and toy cars, man, but you know, it was the thing. So that is the Micro Machines guy. He talks really fast.
What you mean now, yeah.
Yeah, he won
I do
some world
remember
records.
those.
I think he won some world records.
You need to understand.
He's gonna be forever known as, the Micro Machines guy.
Of course.
Imagine having a legacy like that. Imagine having a legacy like Mr. Bruce Lee. And then imagine having a director like Quentin Tarantino saying that he needs somebody to act as Bruce Lee. The pressure would be on. Quentin Tarantino coming out with his new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it hits theaters in July, late July. I'm really excited about it. Quentin Tarantino's, I think, 9th movie. Anyway, this guy was slated to be Bruce Lee and took it to the next level, training like Bruce Lee. And I love the way this guy trains.
I'm playing
Let's
Bruce
take a
Lee
look.
in Quentin Tarantino's upcoming movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Bam.
So when I first got the call to audition for Bruce, number one, I was excited, but I also said, wow, this is the time, it's go time. I've got to get really deep in not only to who Bruce was, but how he ate, how he trained. Here are a few things that I...
Okay, so how he even ate, right? He looked at that, and I know you're a fan of that.
Well, I am simply because they're learning so much more about the microbiome in the stomach and the way that our gut speaks to our brain. And so if you're eating like somebody, you're truly getting into their mind because of the way that your body communicates to itself.
Mm-hmm.
So like kudos.
I would say so. It really cool doing the deep workouts and kind of training how Bruce Lee trained to get into that character. A lot easier to I shouldn't say it's easier, but you can get a lot more in depth when it's not a fictional character. This guy actually lived and breathed on this earth. He had a daily regimen. He had to deal with real human problems like taxes and paying bills and raising children. And
the Chinese mafia.
Right. Yeah. So shh. I don't want to get in trouble here. So yeah, this guy trained. His name is Mike Moe, and should be a fantastic movie this summer. Check it out. Some of these things that he's doing training as Bruce Lee, it's kind of hilarious.
This is the most advanced. We're going to start with 10.
You know, he does these push-ups, right? And then he does these fly Superman push-ups, 10 reps. And every time he gets done with it, he just kind of gets up and acts like it's no big deal.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like, let's move on. Windshield wipers. Like, these kill. You think it's ridiculous, huh?
Yeah, well, because you watch him.
Okay, we're ready to hit the bags. Let's get into our martial arts themed part of our
We're
workout.
ready to hit the bags. Like he's like, oh, now that I'm warmed up. Like,
And then the way he says it, he's like, yeah, these will really get your legs warm. It's like, yeah, buddy. Like, he does all these kinds of like
that
kicks.
Anybody can learn properly and safely. For filming, we had to make sure that I was not only looking powerful and fast like Bruce himself, but I had to make sure that my kicks were 100% controlled, because the last thing I wanted to do was break Mr. Pitt's ribs.
Anybody accident?
Oh, it's going to be such a good movie. I love
So
it.
good.
Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Bruce Leroy. Come on. That's going to be fantastic. He also does burpees.
I work out to become Bruce Lee. Make sure you guys check out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, coming to theaters this summer.
Yeah.
I work out and we're going to finish strong with burpees.
Yeah, he does burpees.
finish strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kendra extra, I really like this.
Yeah, do a cool down with burpees. Just gonna cool down with some burpees.
Burpees
I'll
kill.
do 3 sets of 1 minute burnout burpees. If I'm feeling great after those, I'll add in 1 more set of these variation burpees.
If I'm feeling great after that.
Variation burpees. Whatcha?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So that's it.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's gonna throw in a backflip.
So the link is in the description below on the YouTube video. If you're watching live via Twitch, hello. You know, you can just watch along with us. And we put this up. Really, really great. He even gets some Bruce Lee's like wow, in that training video. So I thought it was pretty good.
He gets into it. He throws some variation. It's obvious he's done his research. It's gonna be a great film.
Well, I guess it's time, Kendra. You loaded it up. This week in Reddit, today's Ask Reddit. Okay, what life lesson did you learn the hard way? There's the easy way and there's the hard way. What is the hard way? What does that even mean, Kendra? Learning a lesson the hard way.
I mean, I guess it really depends on what your interpretation of the hard way is, right? Because hard is different for everybody.
Yeah.
But these have some really great stories of personal hardships. And there was one that I felt was particularly funny that I wanted to share with our audience.
Yeah.
People like Dr. House or Dr. Cox from Scrubs or Sterling Archer, they're only funny because they're TV characters. And if you act like them in real life, people are going to think you're an asshole. And you're nobody wants to be your friend.
Archer?
Yes.
And who else?
Dr. House from House
Okay.
and then Dr. Cox from Scrubs.
It's true.
So like people think like, oh, they're geniuses, and so they think like, oh, I'm smart.
I'm a genius.
I can
I
act
should
like
act like that.
an
Yeah.
asshole, but it doesn't work well in real life.
I do give variance to some people with different social cues. You know, I let that happen. I understand where they are. You know, I'm a nerd. I hang out with some nerds. Sometimes their social cues are a little bit awkward, but I'm able to deal with that, you know? And I guess, like, if they're successful and they're making you money, it might not be far off. But, like Houses for the hospital, he's making money. His social cues are awkward, but he's very good. I don't know. It depends. Even if they're washing dishes, I'm still like, no, I get it. Like, hey, that's you, baby. You know? I mean, don't you allow for people? I mean, you allow for my social, distortion.
I do. It's that there are people in my life who, not you, who I am very close to, that have this problem and struggle with it, and is consistently been feedback from supervisors and other people in their life of like, hey, we love how hardworking you are and how smart you are, but you gotta chill with the arrogance. Like, it's not cool.
No.
And so it's just a good reminder of like, we see these things on TV, but it doesn't make it okay. And like, I did grow up watching a lot of television, and I hate to admit that too much of my social cues probably come from TV and just watching television. So I understand that it's an easy mistake to make. And it's a good reminder for myself too of like, don't get cocky. It's not pretty.
Other life lessons: you cannot force someone to change. They have to recognize the need to change and make that change on their own. Number one answer: learning lessons the hard way. Trust is earned over years and broken in seconds. Yeah, there you go. Don't go into a relationship just because they showed interest in another one. The hard way. They had to find out the hard way, which is what living life. Everybody finds out that lesson. I don't know. Go ahead. What else you got?
Everything is a popularity contest.
Kind of. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Some of these things I feel like are almost just like, oh, these are the.
But a lot of things are. Yeah, you're right.
They're the catchy thing to say.
See, I like this one because it's fucking honest. It hurts to put retainers back on after not wearing them for a while. You learn that the hard way, and that's some honest truth, right? You just get through the philosophy. I'm sick of being philosophized to on the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks. You always have the people posting the quotes. Shut the fuck up. You do the best life you can live, all right, and stop quoting because obviously, I don't want to hear it.
I advocate for the quoting because I don't think that it's people saying, "Hey, I'm so good at this, so I'm going to post about it." I mean, there are always those people,
Yes.
but I feel like when I'm doing something like that, I'm saying this is a good reminder for me. I'm posting this because I need to be reminded of this inspirational
Then
quote.
write it in your diary. Why are you posting it to social media to share to everyone? What is the reasoning?
Because social media is my scrapbook.
Yeah, it is. And that's fine. Whatever. Okay, so let's move on to Notre Dame. The topic of our background this evening, everyone. Notre Dame.
Notre
Can I say it like a
Notre
Michiganer?
Dame.
Notre Dame.
No, Notre Dame, please.
Saying tycoons who promised millions haven't paid yet, and it's not international tycoons; it's the French tycoons. And there's reason behind this. Kendra, would you like to divulge a little bit? You read the article.
Well, what do you mean?
Well-
It's pretty straightforward in that they said that they would pay and they haven't. Now, charitable foundations have
Yes.
made payments towards it, but those charitable foundations say that a lot of those donations have not come from the big donors.
Okay. I like it. What I got, God bless you and all your coughing. What I got from it was that the major French donors want to see the design first before they go ahead and just give money. They're paying a lot of workers right now to work, and they kind of want a signal to where the trail is going. That's what I got from the article. We'll post it for you below, but it's interesting because, I mean, when you're talking about rebuilding Notre Dame, first thing that goes into your head is like, yeah, rebuild it exactly the same. That's what went in my head anyway. Let's rebuild. You don't want to change a nut or a bolt. Let's rebuild it exactly the same. The reality of the situation now that after reading this is that they can't do it. They can't, like, the beams were made with these old world lumber. It just, modern building is way more advanced, and we should take advantage of that and with this opportunity to rebuild. So what they did was they opened it up to a competition. Yes, and you read about this.
did.
You read a little bit about this competition as well, right?
Yes, I did. Now the competition is, the details are still very few on this, but that's not stopping a lot of architects from already starting to present plans and give ideas. And this has also opened up a rather big debate about, as you said, the fact that people want to rebuild it identically. They
Right.
want to bring it back exactly the way that it was. But a lot of people are saying it's just not. It's not feasible, and nor should they rebuild it.
You
the
see a
way
lot
that
of
it was.
interesting ideas on this page. We'll link it in the description below. But one with an all stained glass spire and ceiling. You have several different ones. One with like these kind of giant protruding. I don't even know what that is. Spires. It's a brand new spire. It's a spire that's higher.
Then the spires are always what people are really focused on for this. And, just a reminder, Emmanuel Macron did promise that it would be rebuilt within 5 years
The
in
Olympics.
time for the Olympics. So
Don't rush it. What are your favorite suggestions? I like the gardens. Some of these are putting roof gardens on top. A place where you normally couldn't stand before now becomes a public space.
I mean,
I like that.
I am not as interested in the beauty of the architecture as I am accessibility.
Right.
Like, I mean, whatever an artist who has dedicated their life to architecture wants to do with this ancient building, like, I trust you and I think it's going to be beautiful. But what I'm more interested in is, are the doors wide enough for people with wheelchairs to be able to visit this beautiful place? Are the bathrooms going to be accessible for all people?
That's what you're interested in?
With the modern era, a lot of these old buildings were not built to be accessible for people.
Everybody.
So yes, what I'm saying is like, yeah, that's what
I get it.
When people talk about, well, let's just rebuild it exactly the same way that it was, they're also not taking into account those people either. And they're just going, oh, like, let's just rebuild it without taking into account this understanding that accessibility is a good
I don't
building
think you
practice
have
for
any
everybody.
grounds for saying that they are not taking into account. I just think you're shooting from the hip there.
No, I didn't
it's a
say
hip-
that they were not. I said that's what I'm most excited about with the rebuild.
You said you're most concerned about it.
Excited.
So you would see the most emphasis should be put on accessibility and not the architecture itself.
No, I'm saying that this is an opportunity to focus on accessibility as well.
Okay, that's what you said. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity to focus on accessibility. I'm glad we got that straight. I mean, I think accessibility is in the laws at a lot of places. I mean, if you build in the United States, I'm not sure with the French restrictions, but I would put and yes, it should be accessible. There should be some sort of elevators to the rooftop or whatever, and I'm sure they will make accommodations for that. But above all, it has to stand out. I mean, you have to pay your respects before, I mean, and yes, I think the accessibility will be included, and I don't necessarily think it needs to be a focus for access, right? As long as it's there. It doesn't need to be, making sure we have, 30 different elevators to get everybody up at the same time.
Well,
And
but
why
good
did-
design, you don't need to make accessibility obvious to make it good design.
Right.
You can make wide hallways look nice, and that's accessible for all. So
I think it's an important decision. Do you remember when the trade centers went down and they had different ideas for the World Trade Center and what they wanted to do there?
Sure,
Do
yeah.
you remember some of the other ideas?
No.
Like Donald Trump put forth an idea to rebuild it and both towers after the other policy had been put forth in there, pretty much to go on it, 1 story higher. So same thing. Kind of there were bands around the middle of the towers, but then 1 story higher than
Plus one.
before, right? Plus 1, basically the same thing. So I don't know if the bands existed. That might have been another one, but anyway, it was 1 story higher. So I mean, the thought of that and my gut reaction for the Notre Dame, obviously, we're gonna move on, but was to rebuild it exactly the same. Let's get some old trees. Let's do it. But think about the cost of upkeep and the public access. It's really a beautiful opportunity for them to capitalize. Let's hope they don't mess it up. Sometimes things get messed up, right?
With enough people, I think that Notre Dame is safe
You
from
think it's
being
safe?
messed up.
And I think hopefully the French will, donate. They will come through once they find out the plan. And if you don't know the plan, you better ask somebody. If you don't have anybody to ask, like a lawyer, well, you might want to ask a judge. And this judge has had enough of this state policeman, this city policeman. I didn't realize. There he goes, blowing by. We're going to focus on this vehicle here, right? Okay? That is the subject in question. Now, this is a quick video, so we'll comment as it takes place. Have you ever been pulled over before, Kendra?
I have been pulled over several times.
Any rules for pulling over real quick?
I mean, stay in your car. Wait for instructions.
Okay.
Is typically good rules.
I'll let you guys in on a tip. This guy that he's pulling over is a judge. Policeman's pulling over a judge. Doesn't know it's a judge.
Yet.
Let's watch. 49 traffic stop. Okay. So there are things I'd never say to a police officer just because I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, be nice. It's just better.
And he's doing his job, and just like any job, there's got to be newbies that don't know the full ropes. Like, okay, here we go. We have some action. Door open, door shut. I know people get mad if I don't make the correct drink from their current bartender.
Sir, go back into your car. I'll be with you in a second. You better check the registration on this plate soon, mister.
Well. You better check the registration on this plate soon, mister. That guy, so the judge blew his horn at the guy.
Well,
when he
and
went by. Boop, boop, boop.
Well,
At
and
the
like
cop.
I don't understand like why he blew the horn.
Maybe he wanted to get out of the way. Maybe
Yeah.
he's a judge and he feels like he's untouchable. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just having a bad day. We're human beings. We have bad days.
It's true, but you most people can't rub it in a cop's face.
Watch this. Okay, so we found out he's a judge. Here we go. Watch.
Have a good day, Judge. You bet.
Boom. Boom.
You bet.
Bully. Did we get an update on that? Thoughts on judge pushing their weight? Lancaster County judge. Did he get suspended, Kendra? Come through with the current events. Can you search it? No.
I can find it. Yes, I
Yeah.
wasn't prepared.
No, I know you're not, but I'm throwing curveballs at you. This is what I do during the show sometimes. Look things up real quick. But so this Lancaster judge, look at that. Surprising stretch. Ended years of my chronic pain. Anyway, what do you think about that? Judges abusing power. I think he's not going to get the ticket pushed through anyway because the judge knows the other judges, and he'll just take the guy to court, and it's a big hassle, and the guy knows to suck it up. If you were the cop, would you suck it up?
Yes.
I would suck it up too. I would say, have a good day, judge. I was thinking, please just tell the judge to move on. Please wave him through. Do not cause any bigger. The judge is already in the wrong for acting like the way he did. You don't need to throw your bones into. Have a good day. You're going to get what you want anyway out of this situation. There's no good ending.
Mm-hmm. So apparently this happened back in April.
Yeah.
And
I love
the
it.
judge claims that he did not request any favoritism, specifically those words.
Right.
Because in Pennsylvania where this happened, it is illegal to request favoritism for being a judge. I
better
respect
check
and
those
greatly
places.
appreciate the hard work of our law enforcement officers. I neither expect nor deserve any special treatment. I am not immune to mild frustration.
Yep.
Is what he said. My intent was to tell him who I was. If my intent was to tell him who I was, I certainly would have done so.
What
He
it
goes on to
was.
say.
His intent was to tell him who he was. Obviously, you better check the plates, mister. He knows. But yeah, no. So he's being fickle with the words. I do think people should get some leeway for being human. You know. This episode brought to you by Izzy. By the way, we're drinking Izzy's now. It's a fruit juice drink that we got at
Carbonated
Costco,
juice,
and it's got a
yeah.
lot of juice in it.
Is what we were saying if we were being paid by Izzy and Costco. I mean,
Go get yourself some fucking Izzy. Is what we'd say. Ka-dink, dink. Continue.
But it looks like there was really no penalty given for this action as the time being. I mean,
that's
I
fine.
don't feel like
I'm fine with that.
I don't feel like the judge was in the right to aggressively
Handle it within themselves. You know, there was a conflict. The officer handled it with the judge right there on the scene. You know, the cop probably didn't have too much to pull him over on anyway, right? Now, if the judge was sideswiping people, done. But what did he the judge really didn't do anything.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's, that's why it's like, who gives a shit in this situation, right? It's kind of like that parking situation, Kendra.
But I mean,
Should you
just
care?
still, like you could not speak to a cop that way, even if you were innocent, and be able to walk away from it the way that judge just did. I mean, even an innocent person, the fact that he's even able to speak that way to a cop and still be like, "See you later." Like, just it's definitely privileged, and I'm really disappointed in that judge's behavior. I am pleased that he did acknowledge his behavior.
What gives you the right to park like that right there? What does that give you the right to park like that? What are you gonna do about it?
That's the judge.
You got a problem? I mean, yeah, I just don't understand what makes you.
Because somebody was pulling out in front of me, and I was trying to pull in here, and I was in a hurry, and so I parked like that. Is that a problem for you? Is there any problem whatsoever?
It is.
Why?
What is?
That's
because you're a dumb son of a bitch. That's why.
I'm sitting in my parking spot.
Okay, now that it almost seems scripted. I mean, but that's what the judge basically did. Now we watched that 2 weeks ago. You should check the videos. Check the VODs. Yeah. You know, the judge came out, told him how they settled it as gentlemen. Nobody was being hurt. Now, after watching this week, I did yell at a kid for parking. It was raining, and he took up 2 spots, and he had this Mustang, this really just Mustang. We're like, yeah, that guy. And everybody there had to go like around the block. And it was like, they probably would have had to do it anyway because it was one spot. But, we needed the spot. So I saw him. I'm like, hey, quit parking like a jackass. And I told him what was up. Told him about life.
And how did he respond, this teenage kid?
He had his friends laughing at him like, is that guy yelling at you for parking like that? We told you. And that's what happened. So, I just let him know. I gave him a gentle nudge out of the nest. Be like, psst, welcome to the real world. Don't park like a jackass, right?
People will call you on it.
Yeah, well, I'm not, fine. And it is important to be called on stuff. Sometimes it ain't easy. Sometimes you need a source of inspiration. Sometimes you gotta climb impossible mountains and dream impossible dreams. And that brings us to our last topic of the day on the Shoot the Messenger podcast. Hello, Irish MJ in chat. Check this story out, bud. You need some inspiration. Does life ever get hard? Final Fantasy VII is being remade. Now, they're on like Final Fantasy 15 right now. Final Fantasy has been a series that's been going on ever since the original Nintendo, Super Famicom. So it's a big series. It has a huge following, right? And, people on the internet now react to videos. They react to things that they're excited about. And you never know what's going to inspire somebody. So this guy, Max, in about 11 minutes in, starts to tell his story about when he met the creators of the remaking Final Fantasy VII. It's one of the best Final Fantasies ever. People are really excited about it. Let me see if I can get to a clip of him reacting to the Final Fantasy video here. Let me see. It's right. And he takes a look. Okay, right here. So, yeah, we'll play a little.
Choice. He was saying they always showed the team the video from the first reaction. The one where we first saw FF7 that I made like a story out of it. I don't want to believe it.
Look at it already.
Are coming back.
So they're excited about Final Fantasy VII, right?
No way.
You get the friends.
Oh, my body. Yes! Play it first! They pushed the fucking button! Emergency! That's fucking happening! Ready, get high! Ready, let's go!
He was saying how whenever the team was feeling down and he wanted to motivate everybody, they would watch that video. And it gave them energy to try to go forward and make the right choices. Holy shit, dude. Even when I was there, this didn't hit me that hard. Just thinking about it in retrospect is fucking tough. Give me a second, chat room. Oh, God.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
So
we're good.
So you could tell. So basically, his reaction to what they were making or currently had in development gave the people inspiration to work harder and do a better job.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially like a fan's dream. Like to be a fan and inspire the work that you love.
But isn't it also a creator's dream?
Yeah. To have a fan so dedicated and to have it's emotional.
Follow us, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and broadcasting live on Twitch every weekend. We don't put bars on ourselves. I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, whenever we get time. Brought to you by the Izzies. Kendra, go back to NPR. We'll see you next week. Stay inspired. And as for us, anything else, Kendra? Come on, give me something.
Well, we are really, really, truly pumped for the gala this week.
shit.
I mean, really, we have been working our butts off for almost 2 months now, singing, dancing, preparing for this fundraiser, and we are super excited by Traverse City's support of the Old Town Playhouse.
That's a little IRL life, our internet life, a little bit different, but we're happy to share a little bit with you here on the webs. Thanks again. We'll see you next week after we have been through one hell of a show. We'll see you on the other side. This has been Shoot the Messenger. My name's AJ.
Kendra.
Bye-bye.